Fern, a whiteout that swallowed cities. In early 2026, a massive bomb cyclone underwent rapid cyclogenesis, transforming into a historic triple-threat monster. While the Midwest was buried under 28 inches of snow, the coast faced hurricane-force gusts that redefined modern disaster scales. These aren't just winter storms, they are a terrifying glimpse into a new era of extreme weather. This storm was a monster, stretching nearly 2,000 miles from the Mexican border, all the way to eastern Canada. Watch how this unfolds. 24 inches of snow in 24 hours. In February 2026, a historic blizzard didn't just hit New York, it erased it. Emergency crews didn't just shovel. They set the city on fire to melt the ice. Under a leaden sky, New York became a walking city. Fern was the warning. The cyclone was the storm that broke the city. 2 storms, 1 city. This is how it happened. New York City is the city that never sleeps. We survive heat waves and hurricanes. But in early 2026, the city didn't just sleep. It was knocked out. In 30 days, 2 legendary storms turned the capital of the world into a frozen wasteland. First came Fern, a slow-motion nightmare, a 2,000-mile wall of ice that turned our streets into glass. Then, just as we started to breathe, Hernando arrived on February 22nd. He wasn't a storm, he was a snow grenade. One was a marathon, one was a sprint. Together, they broke the greatest city on Earth. Late January brought us Winter Storm Fern. She wasn't flashy, but she was massive. Stretching from the heat of Mexico to the wilds of Canada, Fern didn't just pass through, she swallowed the continent. Fern's personality? Dark and treacherous. She didn't bring fluffy snow, she brought Ice-Mageddon. Freezing rain coated everything in an inch of solid ice. Walking to the subway wasn't a commute, it was a gamble with the ER. Ice is heavy. It snapped power lines and trees across the South before crawling up to New York. During Fern, the city was annoyed. We were cold, we were slipping, and we were tired. But we had no idea the real fight was still 3 weeks away. Then came February 22nd. Hernando. Scientists call what happened bombogenesis. That's a fancy word for a storm that explodes in power. In just hours, Hernando turned into a winter hurricane. If Fern was a grind, Hernando was an attack. The whiteout? It dumped nearly 20 inches of snow in Central Park. At its peak, it was falling at 3 inches per hour. You couldn't see your own hand in front of your face. For the first time in years, the subways stopped. Mayor Mamdani called a total travel ban. The only sound in Manhattan was the roar of 9 8-mile-per-hour winds. To understand the damage, you have to look at the stats. Here's the secret. Hernando didn't just win because he was strong. He won because we were already broken. New York City had used millions of pounds of salt just to melt Fern's ice. When Hernando arrived, the bins were running low. Our emergency teams had been working 1-2-hour shifts for weeks. They were running on fumes. New York is a city of grit, but in February 2026, Between the Ice Queen and the Snow Hurricane, the city finally had to close its eyes. It was a survival test that changed the way we look at winter forever. When the city stops, New Yorkers get weird. On February 23rd, the crossroads of the world became a ski resort. But it wasn't all fun. In Washington Square Park, a massive snowball fight turned into a snow riot. The NYC subway is a 100-year-old miracle, but Hernando killed it. While Manhattan got the cameras, Staten Island got the short end of the stick. Then, the sky did something impossible. It didn't just snow, it roared. When the wind stopped, the bill arrived. Digging out a city of 8 million people isn't just hard work, it's a war of logistics. Forget the subways. The real crisis was in the kitchen. For 3 days, the city's bloodstream, the delivery drivers, simply vanished. Why did this happen? It wasn't just bad luck. It was a kink in the atmosphere that turned the sky into a funnel. By early March, the monsters were gone, but they left behind a black slush graveyard that New Yorkers had to navigate for weeks.
Still got snow and everything.